What's up guys, my name is Luke and welcome back to Motion Design. So I've been off for like the last 3 weeks maybe. I went to Off Festival in Barcelona and then I ended up staying there for like an extra 2 weeks. So yeah, decided to make a holiday out of it. It was great meeting a bunch of you there. It was a really cool experience and I'll definitely be back next year. But yeah, I was looking for a new tutorial to do. I wanted to do something with particles, but I haven't had a chance to actually learn the particles yet. So I'll get to that hopefully in like the coming weeks. But I needed to do something, so I thought I'd just do a kind of like abstract artwork. So yeah, this is kind of what I did. There was this AI image that I saw by some architect that kind of gave me the inspiration for this. Can't find it right now, but I'll put it in the link in the description. He's a architect and he just did like a bunch of like AI generated images, and one of them was this kind of like building covered in a material. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So I thought I would create something like this. Yeah, it's nothing too complicated. It's more just kind of like creating a abstract scene together. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you're interested, the project files will be up on my Patreon. There's also a bunch of other Patreon only project files and tutorials up there. And there's just a lot of project files. We're almost at like 100 project files. So yeah, it's pretty cool. If you want to support me, that's where to go. But if not, a like and a subscribe goes a long way. Also, if I sound weird, it's because my nose is a bit blocked and I'm a little bit sick. So sorry about that, you'll have to deal with that. But yeah, let's get into this tutorial. So this is just what I'm going to start off with. I'm not going to show you guys how to make these just because it's so simple and they really don't make that big of a difference. I just created like these little assets. I've got a base over here and it's pretty much just, as you can see, really primitive shapes just thrown into a volume builder and then into a remesher. And then same with these, where it's like, this is just literally just, if you look at it, it's just 4 cylinders put in a volume mesher. So yeah, I'm not going to show you guys how I made them just because they're kind of dumb and simple, but we're going to see it from a distance, so it doesn't really matter. And then this is just a cylinder with a hole cut in the middle. So yeah, this is pretty much what we're going to use for the base of our project, and then I just have some grass over here for mega scans. Cool, so let's set up our scene. So let's go and just put everything in the center over here, and put everything in a cloner. Cool, and then in our cloner, let's set it to 100 by 100 by 100 and set it to multi-instance. Just give it a second, and cool, now we have all of our stuff set up over here. Cool, let's just move things around a bit. That's the base, that's the pole. Let's just go over here and set this to like 50. What is this? We can set this for about 100, and this we can set to like 25. Cool. So now we have the base of our scaffolding up here. Let's select everything and let's increase it by 3. Now we got that. Let's also go to our pole over here and let's make 2 duplicates of it. And in this one, let's go over here, set it to 90. And this one over here, set this to 90. And with this one, we only need, look. There we go. 2 over there. And with this one, we only need 2 over here. Cool, let's just realign these like that, and then also need to go up by 100 over there. Some of these ones 100, and let's also just realign this so they connect over there. Cool, so that's kind of the basics of our scaffolding. Let's just extend this by a bit. I'm going to select all of these, and it's 4. Should we just do a 4 by 4? Yeah, so my bad is fine. And let's just go here. I think like this one at least to be 3, and then this one needs to be 3. Awesome. So that's the basics of our scaffolding over there. Let's just put this all into a group. We can call it scaffolding. And then let's just move it so that it is standing on the floor. Cool. So at the moment, this is cool. We want to just add a little bit more randomness to it. So let's select these and these. Let's go mobile effector random. Let's go over here and turn off our Z and Y, and then let's just adjust this. Cool, so now we just have a bit of randomness over there. I mean, to be honest, you don't even need too many of these. I'll leave it up to you to decide what you want to do with them. But now let's select everything. Let's go MoGraph, effect to plane. Let's turn off our position, but we want to turn on visibility. Let's go over here to our fields and let's select shader. And then in our shader, let's select noise and set this to about 500. Cool, so let's find something that we like. I'm thinking we gotta choose an angle from like here. So let's find a C that looks kind of cool. I think that looks pretty cool, to be honest. But I wanted that, let me just add a little camera over there. I wanted that over here there is still scaffolding. So let's go over here and let's add a spherical field. Turn up the color. Let's just make it a bit bigger. And now if I bring this to the side, I can do that so that's this back section. We have a little bit more control of the art direction of where the poles appear and don't appear. So yeah, I think something like that looks pretty cool. Especially because we're going to see it from here, so it will look... Yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. We can go MoGraph, the MoGraph selection. You can do that. Actually, yeah, I can do that. Then let's go MoGraph, vector, plane, parameter, and visibility. Actually, let's go scale, set to -1, and with this, MoGraph selection, this one, and why can I not select it? Doesn't really matter. But anyways, that's just a way to just get rid of one of those clones. Cool, so we have that as our base. Let's just go select these two, put it in here just for ease of use, and then let's just go and set up the basics of our scene. So I'm just going to set up a basic landscape, nothing really fancy to be honest. So like this, let's go into our camera. Let's just increase this a little bit wider, like that. Let's go create a landscape over here. Something like that, and let's just change the seed to the first thing we like. That looks pretty cool. I'll do that, and let's duplicate it. Put it over here, maybe just make it a little bit wider. Something like that, and then maybe just one more over here in the background. Cool. To be honest, it doesn't really matter too much what it looks like because we're only going to be seeing it from this camera angle. If you're wanting it that you're going to actually move the camera around the scene, then I think I'd spend a little bit more time with the actual environment. But seeing as though we're just seeing it from this angle, this should be perfect. Let's go and get a connector and then put all of these in a connect object. Let's turn off the world. The reason for this is so that everything over here, I'm going to texture the same. I'm going to add a collider to all of them, so I might as well just put it in my connector object. You don't need to, it's just, you know, just saving, I guess, some time. Time over time, but not much time. Cool. So now when it comes to simulating our cloth on top of this, so you could add a collider tag onto all of this. The problem with it is that it's not very well optimized. So what I would suggest doing is taking our scaffolding over here. Let's go connect objects. Cool, and now that that's done, let's go and just throw that into a remesh. Let's set the remesh to something like 10, just so that we have a better poly thing to work with, and also just so that the simulation just runs a little bit faster. Seeing as though a simulation like this, there's not going to be too many like, this actually might be too low, let's maybe set it to 30. Another thing you can do if you're worried about collisions is that you could throw this into a volume builder. Let's see, that looks pretty decent. As you can see, it doesn't look amazing, but I mean, this is just going to be our collider. We would hide this and then we would show our actual scaffolding when it comes to the end product. Cool. So I think that is fine for now. Let's go and just for ease, I'm just going to say connect objects and delete. Cool. And now let's go and create our cloth. Let's go here. Depth plane. Let's set this to about 1000 by 1000. 200 by 200 should be, let's see. Actually, this won't be enough. I think when I simulated it, I think I did it at like about like a 1000 and 1000. It was quite dense, but I wanted to like full on lock into it. I'm not going to do that for this tutorial because it will just take a little bit too long, but I'll set it to like 300 by 300. Let's go simulations, collider. Let's turn off our bounce and over here. Let's go simulations, clock. We want quite a lot of bendiness. Let's say maybe 1000 to maybe 250 stretchiness, and we don't really need to change the target length. Let's go Command D, simulations. Let's set the sub-zips to about 30. Let's set the iterations to like 4 with 2 extra passes and maybe 3 iterations. Obviously, I'm just putting random in numbers now just because I know they will collide with this and will break through. So I'm just increasing these because I know that I will need to increase them. But cool, let's go and press play. One thing I can tell already is that I think for the scene scale, the gravity is a little bit heavy, so I might change that. Let's see if it works or if it doesn't work. Yeah, no, it's not working very well. Let's go back. Scene, I'm going to set this to maybe minus 250. We can also increase the scene scale, seeing as though our plane is like 1000. Yeah, you can see it's still going through. I think the reason for that is because our mesh doesn't have, it's not dense enough. Cool, let's go. Let's maybe decrease this by 800, 800, 400, 400. Another thing that I want to do is I want to add a force attractor, put this over here, add a spherical field, put this like this, and then just invert this just so that it kind of like sucks the path inwards. Let's see how that looks. I actually think that looks pretty cool, especially the way that like it's kind of like sucked onto it. I actually quite like that. So let's go over here. Let's go to our dresser and say set initial state. Cool. So now it will just start over here. I'm going to turn off my attractor for now. I'm not going to really work with animation for now. I'm just going to use this as a still, seeing as I'm just making an abstract still. Cool. Let's go and go into our camera over here and let's start making our scene. Cool, so I just want to throw, actually no, I'm not going to throw a subdivision surface. I'm just going to throw some tessellation on this and then do the same with this. Let's go redshift, overdrive, and tessellation. Cool, let's start up our redshift view. I'm going to work in a square, so I'm going to set this to 1K over here and then just reframe this. Maybe want to set this to 25. Maybe 30. Let's just make it 35. Something like that is fine for now. Let's go and set up our brass. Let's go and search for a matrix scatter, and let's put our, set this to object and put our connect over here. And then let's set this to something pretty big. Something like that should be good. Then over here in our particles, let's set this to custom objects. Let's just lock this in place and let's put in our grass. Cool. As you can tell, the grass is a little bit too big. So let's maybe set this to like 0.2. That looks fine. I think at the moment, the one problem is that it's facing, it's facing the wrong direction. So let's unlock this, go to our matrix, and I think we send this to 90. Is that right? Was that this 90? negative 90. Cool. And now we have grass. Cool. As you can tell, we just need a little bit more. So let's go into our object over here and let's set this to 50,000. Cool. That looks fine. Let's go MoGraph effectors plane. Let's go turn off our position. Let's go to our scale, go to uniform and set this to -1. Then in our fields over here, we're going to add in a shader field. In our field, let's go and add a noise. Let's set this to maybe 500. And let's change it to another noise. It looks fine. Let's just increase this so that we just get a little bit more of a natural look to the grass. Yeah, I think that's fine. I would spend more time with this, refining how you want it, where you want certain things to look, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to leave it like that for now. Let's just create a base for our ground over here. Seeing as though we're doing something abstract, it doesn't really matter too much if it's not ultra realistic, because that's not really what I was going for. Let's just go and add a max on noise. Plug this into the color, and let's also add a bump map. And I'm just going to add a kind of bumpy ground. Let's go and overload this to see how big we need to make it. So maybe 50, maybe 20, maybe 10. Kind of like. Cool. Now let's start adding some lights to our scene. Let's go and add a dome light. And let's go and add a graph because we don't want it to just be pure white. Also, I don't want this floor to be that black and white, to be honest. So let's create a duplicate of this. And let's maybe set this to like a light gray. And let's just set this to like something like 10. Just that we have a bump. It's just like a bumpy floor. Cool. And also with our grass, I don't want it to be green because that's lame. Let's go and search for a color correct mode. Let's take out a diffuse and put this into our input and put this into our diffuse color and also our backlights. That's just for like the subsurface. Then in our hue shift over here, let's find the color that we like. So I'm going to go with something like this. This kind of like dark blue because that's going to match the background. Let's go over here, search for C4D shader. Put the shader into our dome map. Just gonna make the size a little bit bigger and let's go and add a gradient. Let's change this to V so it's going horizontally and let's find a good spot for it. Springs down a tiny bit, something like that. And then now we want to change this from white to blue. It's fine blue, that looks nice. I think something like that is quite nice, that kind of like subtle gradient. Cool, so I don't really want this dome light to actually affect this at all. So I'm going to go and exclude, and I'm going to exclude our plane over here, which is going to be our cloth. Cool. That's the base of our render over here. Now let's go and light this up. Let's grab a area light. And what I want to do is I want one bright light coming in from the left over here. So let's set that up. Let's go in A. And bring this to the side. Bring this like 90 degrees. Boom. Let's aim this down. And I want it to be quite a sharp spread so that we get this kind of shadow over here. because I wanted that, seeing as though the top over here is going to be dark, I want this bottom over here to be dark as well. So I want to kind of guide the viewer's eye to the spot over here. I think something like that looks pretty good. Maybe if I just reduce the spread that a little bit more. Bring this down. Bring it lower. Yeah, something like that. So now we have the dark on the top and at the bottom. I also want to change the color of this grass. It is a cool blue, but it doesn't match our... Yeah, I think that matches that a little bit better. And pop up the camera by a tiny bit as well, just to make it a little bit brighter. Yeah, I think that looks cool. Nice. Cool. So I think that looks good. Let's add a light here for the background. Actually, really like what we had there for a second. Yeah, I think that actually looks really nice. It's very pretty. I like it. Cool. Let's go and just create a very basic metal texture. Let's hide our remesh and let's turn back on our scaffolding, just so that we have our high quality ones. And let's go and apply the same text for them. Obviously, you can, not do that if you don't want to. But I think for my purposes, I'm going to make everything the same kind of metal. Let's make it kind of like that. And let's go and add a maxon noise. Pump that into the roughness and add a bump map. Cool. Let's solo this, hide our plane. Cool, and now we have this kind of bumpy metal. It could obviously be better, but I think it does the job that we're trying to do for now, especially because you're not really going to see it too well. Oh, nope, that's the remesh. And now let's turn back on our plane. Cool, so I mean, at the moment, this does look pretty cool, but let's add just a little bit more to it. So for the texture for this, I originally created a different texture, but then when I was messing around with stuff, I just came across this curtain over here. And if we put our curtain on here, I thought that gave us a really nice result. Obviously, we can just make a curtain like this. We could just... Actually, let's just make a curtain. Instead of doing that, let's go... I'm just going to grab a mesh that I made. Let's go put this in opacity. Oops, mesh. Oh, I've got a mesh over there. Let's say this is 10 by 10. Maybe 20 by 20. 30 by 40. 20. Let's go over here, add a ramp. It's just a little bit too, there's too much opacity in it, but I think something like that works pretty well. Yeah, so this texture is literally just a mesh texture. We don't want... we want it to be fully rough because it's a material, so we want it to be rough like that, and we want it to be white. Cool, and I think that looks pretty nice. Cool, so at the moment, we only have one main light. This does look nice, but I kind of wanted there to be a little bit more, randomness to it. So the way I achieved that is going up here, going into lights, adding an area light. Let's set this 50 by 50, throwing that into a cloner. Moving this up over here, let's set 50 by 50 by 50, And let's make 3 of them. Let's just see how this is looking in here. Maybe 1 2 maybe like that is a little bit better. Let's go MoGraph vector random, and let's position these randomly. So 360, 360, 360, something like that. Looks cool. And now we want this to have random rotation. You could manually go and do it, but who has time for that? So we're going to use noise. Let's set this to an animation speed of 10. Oh no, please don't crash. Oh no. Oh yeah. I'm just gonna turn off my chain for now so we can see. Cool. And now we have random movement, which is exactly what we want. Cool. So one more thing while we're working with random movement, we want there to be movement to this grass over here, something that feels a little bit more natural. So let's go to our matrix over here, go MoGraph vector random. Let's turn off our position, go into rotation, and I think it's this one. Set that to about there and add just like a little bit over there. I mean 20, 20. Cool. And then over here, let's set this to noise, and let's set this to a speed of like 25. And now let's see what that looks like. Nice. And now we get this like really nice natural flowing movement, which is exactly what we want. Cool. So that's that for now. Let's see what our lights look like with our cloth on. Let's go back, turn on our cloth. Cool. So now that we have lights inside of there, let's go to our main light that is off to the side of here, and let's exclude our plane. So now we only have these lights in the center that are doing the work. Let's bring down our intensity, and also I want to bring down our spread. So now we get it shining in different directions. Yeah, I think something like that looks pretty cool. Then the only thing I want to do is go to our temperature over here, and let's just bump this all the way to the right so we get this really nice blue. And yeah, look at that. We have a really cool render now. Maybe we should also exclude this light from our project, exclude scaffolding. I mean, it definitely makes it a little more abstract having that like dark contrast. I actually quite like that. But yeah, I think this looks pretty cool. We have a really nice sky gradient up here, really nice light that brings in the eye. I think the only other thing I'd do is maybe just like make it a little bit more diagonal, this light, instead of horizontal, so that it kind of goes like this to make the eye kind of go in that direction. The only other things that I would really add to this render is maybe to go over here and add basic bit of like color correction just to boost some things. So let's go pump up our contrast just by a bit. Let's maybe raise the highlights and something like that. And then nice. And look at that. It pops. It is really nice, beautiful, really simple. And I mean, it's very easily now to, you know, change this up. I mean, obviously my render is blue, but you know, you want to make your own render. You don't want it to be like, oh yeah, you know, you copied this or you follow this guy's tutorial. So now all you can do is change it to something. Let's go maybe pink. Give me pink. There we go. We got pink, and we go into our dome light over here. Let's make this pink as well. And let's go with our lights, and maybe make this more white. And now look, you have your own render over here. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. It was, yeah, just a kind of basic one, just going through creating a scene. Let me know what you guys thought. And yeah, again, if you guys are interested in the project files, they'll be up on Patreon with a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, I hope to see you guys there, and I hopefully will be a little bit better with tutorials. I feel like I've said that so many times recently. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.